What everybody, Jordandespong here, episode 13 of How to Improve My Mile, and I honestly think we're getting better, and I hope we're going to see some results this week, but we'll get to that in a little bit later because I could talk to you guys for probably like half an hour about what has happened over last week. What a busy week. Obviously, maybe went out drinking a bit too much the weekend before, missed the episode. From like the weekend beforehand, and I was like, I'll do it during the week, and I got slammed. Like I haven't been at school, since May, and we were cruising for the first 5 weeks of this, and then it is tough here. The standard is a lot higher. The amount of work that's required was eye-opening last week. It was a tough week. 2 exams, an Excel project, and then an 18-page paper, which I ended up having to do mostly on my own because I chose a bad partner. Apparently that's on you. It's not on the partner to do the work. It's on who you choose to be a partner, or so people keep telling me. So that was my problem. But man, it was just a tough week. And then obviously still trying to work out. We did have a good week of running. Coming off that, kind of not so great week where got kicked off the track, and I was pretty frustrated. We did do some good stuff there. Obviously, I got locked into race as well, racing this Friday in New York City in a pretty good field in the 5K. Gonna try my first one on the track. So that will be interesting. Called up good friend. They'd offered for me to do the mile. They have some guy trying to break 4, and I was like, I'm probably fitter than I've ever been in my life. Why not give it a go? And then he asked me, what's your 5K? And I was like, well, 14:50 on the road when I was training for the mile. And he's like, surely, a low 4-minute mile should have a bit of 5K. So gonna do it. Gonna lock in one and see how it goes. So we'll see about that. And then last week, I interviewed for EY, like I mentioned in yesterday's episode, which should have been the weekend before. I got through to their final round. So I've got a final round interview with them for a New York City office position in auditing in their financial services department. So that's all pretty interesting. That's actually going to be on Friday on the day of the race. So great way to keep my mind off things. During the middle of the day, jump on an interview, two 30-minute ones, and hopefully maybe get a job. I just came from an informational session with their New York City Metro office and Hoganbrook office, which is in New Jersey, where we got to meet candidates that are applying, as well as, professionals in those offices that talked about, what it's like to live in New York, what it's like to live there. So that was all pretty exciting. So I'm hoping, good resume, good interview, hopefully we'll get a job, but nothing's guaranteed. I've learned that. Grades, running, you gotta go work for it. So, this episode, we're reviewing summer and fall of 19. We'll review last week's training, October 12th to 18th, and then we'll just take a look at what we're doing this week, the 19th to the 25th. So I think I have the right screen pulled up for the first time ever. Yes, summer 2019. We're not going to look at anything in particular here, but I would say, at any point over the last year or two, I turned a corner, this would be the summer, where I was on and off training with George. It's an interesting relationship. But this summer was when I bought in to 100% kind of what he was doing. At least the methodology just began, the journey of learning about why you're doing something, or what it is you're doing and what impact it will have. He is a prime example of someone that reads a lot, takes a lot of information from a lot of different places and puts it all together into something that, in my opinion, works. He runs very fast. I don't think anyone can argue that. So, not that anything special happened this summer. I was battling still my foot problems for the first kind of month, but he made me read Healthy Intelligent Training. You can find it on the internet. Basically Arthur Lydiard's model broken down into, all the different components. One of the big major factors that came out of it for me was heart rate monitor and training on your heart rate. Like I've mentioned to you guys before, I've got a problem with going hard on an easy day, or just hard on any run other than a workout. I could easily go out there and jog 39-minute miles if I wanted to, but it's not going to make you better. I don't think it really gets you aerobically developed like you should be for a distance runner. So that was a huge thing to come out of this summer, was just the attention to consistently using your aerobic system. And I started out slow. It was kind of like almost hit reset. I was like, you know what, you may or may not have wasted 3 years of your life training. I mean, there's some miles that have been run. You still got a good base. That was one thing that was evident when I started training with George, is that I could keep up, with the volume, but his conditioning is just light years ahead of mine at that point. That man could run, from 800 all the way up to 10,000 meters super fast. And I could do all the easy runs with him and, be chilling, running 90 miles a week, but it didn't matter because once you go into a workout, he could just access so much more, aerobic capacity. He would be running, reps maybe where his heart rate's at like 175. For me to keep up with him, it would be like at 190 and you're done. And that's kind of what you're trying to close the gap with all this aerobic running, with all, and your easy runs, getting it to a point where you're actually getting benefit from the run. Now, that's not to say you don't get benefit from running slow. There are days where I'll run 8-minute mile pace right now. And even back then, we would run slow on some days because I think your legs just need it. But in general, you'll see over the summer, and then as we go into the fall, the consistency of just a lot of jogging. And I use the term jogging for easy runs. Like we used to maybe running 7 miles, at a good pace, 6:40, 7 minutes. But our class, I just say I'm going to go out jog if I'm not working out. So we get down here and, it takes like 2 months into the summer before we actually start hitting some decent miles. I went to Las Vegas for a week. That was pretty fun. Hard to run there. There's not really many places to run, but it was fun. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't really explain much of like this broken down into, it was just, do or get your mindset into running every single morning. So if you look every single week, it's between 8 and 10 miles with a long run exception on Sunday. So it was always using your body for at least 60 to 75 minutes every single morning. And then in the afternoon, supplementing it with some, either another easy run or some type of workout to boost the mileage or get some more work in that day. And, we got pretty consistent here, headed up towards 100 miles. And the big thing was that I was able to consistently stay up there. And this is like really right now, August 2019 versus right now in 2020, I've been able to like double the amount of work I've been able to do consistently while not even really feeling, that tired. So this was, kind of an awakening for the body. You're transforming, you're adapting, putting your body under all this stress. And one thing that George would always say is that, you should never need a day off or never really need to like take time at this point because the training's not hard enough. It shouldn't warrant you to need to feel like you've been working super, super hard. It's, it's just a constant use of your aerobic system, something that as a distance runner or middle distance runner, miler and above, you just got to get very, accustomed to running aerobically. The mile's 80% aerobic. So that means all the way up until 200 meters to go pretty much in terms of nominal meters or time. If you're, running 3:45 or something, it's only about 30 seconds, 200 meters where your anaerobic system kicks in. So that means for that whole first part, you've got to, get pretty comfortable, for me, running, 59s or 59.5s. Hopefully faster. Hopefully I can do like 58.8. I don't know. But this was the start of it. This here, I was dating a girl at that point called Mia. We went to Cancun for a week. Took a little bit of an easier down week there. But once you get into this, and the only thing I have highlighted right now is the racing. And what you can take away from it, this one we were supposed to race here, I'll highlight it, is that it's consistent. I mean, if you go back and look, in 2018, I only ran under 25 once. And all of the other races, if you plotted them on a graph, it was 26 something. There was like a mid 25 run and probably not much else. If you go back to the year before, I never broke 25 and it was all over the place. It was 1 25-minute run. And then you go to the year before that, it was 1 25-minute run and maybe like a 27-minute 8K. Whereas in here, they're all, this was 4 miles and 4 miles. Well, actually, I guess this was an 8K. So 25-20, 25-11, 25-10, and then 32-10, which, oh my gosh, you guys, if anyone goes and races at this Oklahoma State course, it is tough. It is like up and down, up and down, up and down hills. I've always wanted to break 32 minutes in college. And I would have that day if that course had been flat. I was fit enough to, but man, that course was it was hard. But the biggest thing here is the consistency of the racing. I clearly had got a lot better from the year before. And if we start up at the top, you look on this column here, which is the morning. Almost every single morning, it was me, George, and Ryan Martins. We'd always all go out jogging every morning. It was either with the team or George and Martins. With the team, George and Martins, always running in the afternoon, supplementing if we did a workout with more aerobic miles. And it just continues throughout the whole semester. Whereas if you have been watching this, throughout the whole series, you will have seen, if we go back up, that there's a lot of gaps here and a lot of gaps over here. It's like either I worked out or I just jogged. And like to think back now that when I was like a sophomore, I'd just run 6 miles on one day. And it wasn't very fast. Like if you're just going to run one time on one of a day and you've got, 23 more hours to recover, you can use your body at a higher level. So running just once, it can work. But our view was that we could recover. You run 7 miles at 7 o'clock in the morning, you have almost 8 to 10 hours before we go and run again. And it's just light, get the body warm and do some hill sprints or some strides. So that was the biggest thing, where it was like a change in my mindset almost, where it's like, we were clocking 70 to 80 mile weeks without even really thinking about it. It was just get up, let's go jog in the morning, go to class, do all your stuff. And then we all ended up racing well. George, is racing extremely well. Martin's just ended up beating me every single time. Now, this is a kid that when he bought into the same thing, he read the same stuff as I did during the summer. He's continued to read and learn and develop. And this is a guy that could like barely break 26 minutes when he was like a freshman or sophomore, wouldn't even run, couldn't stay healthy. And he's running consistently in like the 24:40s. So it just shows that, a constant use of the aerobic system, a constant attention to base work. And going into here, into December, I went back to New Zealand again with Mia. And I got in really good shape again. It's all credit to, just an evolution of the mindset of kind of moving away from, you need workouts to get sharp and you need to get conditioned, but like you can't get away from laying like the foundation. Which, as I spent more time with George, obviously he's a big part of the running here as we go into 2020 is something I've really taken away from him. And obviously now in my training use a lot. So that was that. It's kind of like not so much focus on the running, the times or exactly, workouts that I did or didn't do. It was more of just an attention to getting better aerobically. And it's something that I'm focusing on now as well. So if we jump over to, what we're doing now, you can easily see that there's, other than, I don't know why this week has so many. Oh yeah, because I was only working out. Yeah, other than this week was a down week. Bad example of running in the morning. But, October 12th to the 18th, we got back at it last week. That was the start of the 10-day block where we're going to try to achieve 2 workouts, a tempo, 2 long runs, and then the rest of them will be easy runs, separating the days between workouts and tempos. So I did 5 by mile. It was pretty cold on my own. It was kind of hard to get going, but it's just something I'm going to have to get used to now. So it wasn't really that bad. It was 49. Sorry, that's a 5. That should be. Yeah, I'm not running that slow. 4:49, 4:45, 41, 41, 40. Just trying to get comfortable, in that zone. Easy 30 in the afternoon. Did 7 miles in the morning on Tuesday, 5 miles. I guess I picked up just a little strain in my, outside of my ankle, I think from the miles, going flats, going around the track. It was pretty sore. So I did 1 short hill sprint on Tuesday afternoon and it didn't feel that great. So I just walked home. Got back to the long run. Obviously it'd been, almost 10 days since I'd done my last one and hadn't really done that longer run, at all there because I kind of took it easy. So went out on the, just the trail, goes straight up for about 2 hours, 18, almost get into 19 miles. I'm liking those runs now. I just put my music in. My heart rate's only ever, averaging around 150. Just pure aerobic running for the whole time. Obviously it gets harder towards the end, but it should because your body's learning to adapt, getting stronger as you go through those runs. So I don't focus, again, like we've talked before, on the mileage on that. It's just time on your feet, getting it in, getting stronger, I think if anybody saw me how I look now, you would say I look skinnier and more like a distance runner. So I think, the whole process right now is working. I feel fitter than I pretty much ever have in my life. But I don't want to get too confident, because then that's like when it's like you become sad if it doesn't work out on Friday. But, we'll give it a go. Thursday, we just came back for an easy run. Just went 7 miles in the morning. I was going to go out in the afternoon, but I clearly didn't feel like I wanted to, because I put an X there. Probably, just wasn't feeling so hot. Friday, we went out for about 70 minutes, did some 8x100 strides on the track. And then on Saturday, 2-mile warm-up, 4-mile tempo, had some hills in it. So that was kind of tough. We started out pretty good, and then the middle part of it was a climb, pretty decent climb. But then on the tail end of it, got to come back down. And then just, I don't want to take, what's happening right now in terms of if I go and race. I don't know what Nebraska is going to do in a few weeks, whether or not they're going to go to a meet or whatever, but I'm kind of planning on running then. So I could have done a workout here on Saturday, which got me ready to really have a good go at this race on Friday. But I figured I'll keep the mindset based on, we're trying to train for strength right now. We're trying to, it's one of the aspects of my running that is the worst, tempo running, kind of that aerobic threshold area that could use the most developing. So in terms of thinking of next year, when I'm wanting to try to break 4 minutes in a mile, it's better right now to stick with that, which it's kind of sad, like hard to deal with, especially when you're doing this, you're riding this training on your own. It'd be a lot easier if someone just told me like, no, you shouldn't do that. But I guess, you got to be smart, or at least I think this is the smart decision. So we stuck with the tempo. I did 6 200s. Usually I do 8. So the last 200s I just put together, ran a 400, let myself feel a little bit of the lactic that I'll probably get at the end of the race. I ran 54.1 into a pretty stiff headwind. So I think I would have run like 52, high 52, low 53 if the wind hadn't been there. I came cruising through 200 pretty easy. I went out with Perry, Canadian dude, that afternoon. He had a pretty tough go of it. He was racing a time trial here in New York somewhere with the team, but they're not being very accommodating to let people help him. So he had to do it all solo, which was unfortunate. But and then on Sunday, just kind of didn't want to do a full long run, after the workout. So I just jogged kind of that hilly-ish route, 80 minutes worth of running, just keep the body moving. I'll get back to a long run here, you'll see next week. But 86 miles, kind of got back to it. It was a pretty good week. This week, was partly down week because of frustration and just stuff that happened. But probably in hindsight, probably good just to ease up a little bit. So heading over here, we just finished that week. So now we're coming into the, tail end of this first 10-week period, jumping into the next 11-day period. So easy 7 and 5 today, which will end up just being an easy 7. I did 7 this morning, and I'm not feeling the greatest, so I'm just gonna rest. We'll get up tomorrow. We'll do 8x1000 with 90 seconds rest. Probably go out for 5-ish miles in the afternoon, just shake it out. 70 minutes on the flat on Wednesday. We'll just depending on how I feel tomorrow, it will either be easy 7 or easy 5 on Thursday. I think it's better to be, fresh and be confident, try to go there. And I think I'm in good shape. So why not give it a good shot? This field's pretty fast. I think they'll be releasing it this week. But downtown Manhattan, under the lights, it should be fun. I think you're set up to run well there, run pretty fast. So probably just do like 45, 60 minutes, Central Park, cruise around New York a little bit, visit with some things, and then get back to it, long run on Sunday. 2 weeks of good training, and then that third week we'll hopefully be racing in Nebraska, but if not, we'll figure something out. But that's where that's at right now. Again, hopefully I can tell you that I did well on Friday and that I maybe got a job by the time I video this next one. But if not, I hope you all have a great week, and love chatting with you. Sorry, this one was late. I got caught up yesterday. I have an exam tomorrow night. Have another project due on Wednesday. So this whole Ivy League stuff is maybe a little bit tougher than Nebraska. but it's worth it. We'll get a good degree here. And yeah, fantasy football went well as well yesterday. Justin Jefferson went off and Bailey lost. So love doing that stuff, but love chatting with you guys. I'll catch you next week. Have a good one.